Hello, thank you for coming here today and thank you for the honor of being a speaker. And so my name is Alyssa Thomas. I am a process automation engineer with Dow Chemical. I first want to give a little bit of background about myself. I grew up in Wisconsin. I attended the University of Wisconsin, so go Badgers. And while I was in college, I did a 3-term co-op with Dow Chemical. And you can see the 3 sites there were in Michigan, Minnesota, and Texas. I also did a separate summer internship with NewPage, which is a paper company. In 2011, I graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Chemical Engineering, and I started full-time with Dow Chemical in Freeport, Texas, as a process automation engineer. Another significant event in my recent history is in 2012, I married my husband, pictured there. Oops. And so when I think about the onboarding process, the first step is to attract your employees. So I think back on why I chose Dow Chemical. And the first one is that through my co-op experiences, I had identified a position that I was interested in, that being process automation. Next is that it was a competitive company in terms of salary and benefits. And the last 2 there, the growth opportunities, market prominence, was something that I noticed, especially in contrast with the position I had with NewPage, that Dow Chemical is a larger company and the market that it had was growing. And so there was just a lot more growth and opportunities available there within Dow Chemical than in some other industries. So that attracted me to Dow. When I hired into Dow, I entered a department called Engineering Solutions. You can think of them as an internal consulting company. What we are is we provide engineering, process technology, and construction expertise. So we carry out projects to build new plants and to modify existing ones. And you can see we have companies all over the world. And so I'm located in one of the Texas sites. And so in Engineering Solutions, the onboarding process works as follows. We have 2 types of coaches available for new hires. One is called a peer coach, and the other is a technical coach. A peer coach, what they are is that they really help a new hire learn how to get things done in the company. They expose them to the company culture, tell them who it is that they're supposed to be talking to just get day-to-day activities complete. The technical coach is someone who helps them more with the technical aspects. And so in completing project work and meeting the deliverables for companies, as someone, the technical coach helps them. And so when a new hire first comes into the company on the first day, the peer coach is the one who meets with them, takes them out to lunch, introduces them to the work group, and helps them set up their office and start to begin their training. With training, we have both classroom training and online training. And so in the first week, the peer coach helps them sign up for that training and also take them on tours of the site and the facilities to really just integrate them into the department. Also, in that first week, the new hire's direct supervisor will meet with them, and the supervisor is the one who explains the goals and expectations for them, as well as assigns their first project. Once a project is assigned, the technical coach starts meeting with the new hire regularly through one-on-one meetings, and also the project meetings that are set up, they will go in together so that the new hire can see from the technical coach how to do their job. Meanwhile, the peer coach is still available for questions, but they start to meet less regularly with the new hire. So after a few months, the new hire has had some classroom training, and so they've learned some of their technical knowledge, but the gaps between the classroom training and what they need for the projects is something that the technical coach helps fill in. And as they carry out their projects, they're learning the work process. So after about 6 months, the new hire is steadily developing their technical skills, and the technical coach continues to monitor progress, make sure they're meeting their deliverables on time. And around this time, the peer coaching process formally ends. Around this time, the direct supervisor will assign a second project because people in engineering solutions typically have multiple projects going on at the same time. And so as the new hire, it gets more comfortable doing their role, they take on more work. And so after about a year, the new hire is proficient enough that they can independently work about 75% of the time, but they still have a technical coach to talk to with any questions that they have. And then at this point, about 1.5 to 2 years in, the formal technical coaching process ends, and the person who once was a new hire then strives to become, is assigned as a peer coach. And as a peer coach, the cycle repeats itself. This time, another new hire comes into the group. And this person, as they continue to do their project work, they serve as a peer coach. And after that, 2 to 3 years, then they are a technical coach to new hires that come into the company. And so this process is a very idealized onboarding process, but as many things happen, that things rarely are perfect. And so I'm going to share my experiences, the challenges and the successes that I had with my onboarding process. First, on the first day of work, things happened as expected. My peer coach met with me, and I met the work group, went out for lunch. But a week into my first career, my peer coach changed role. And so I was assigned a new coach. That new coach, I didn't really meet with regularly, and so I didn't have a lot of interaction with him. However, what kept me on track and to not fall behind or feel overwhelmed was my co-op experiences. Because I had a grand total of about a year's worth of experiences at 3 different sites, including the site I started out working full-time. I already knew the company culture. I already knew the basics of how to get my job done. And so I was able to overcome that obstacle because of that. And then when my first project was assigned, the issue I had is that my technical coach never met with me. And I didn't really know what a technical coach was. I hadn't really experienced that as a co-op. And so I didn't know what I didn't know. And so when it came to the project, I didn't have that resource available. And so what ended up happening is that because of the nature of the project, I was actually transitioning and taking over the project from someone else who was leaving it. And so during that transition period, there was about a month where I actually met one-on-one with the person that I was taking over from. And she really taught me all the technical skills I needed to complete the project. And it was a good project for me because I spent several months just practicing the technical skills, which for me at this stage in that project was doing a lot of programming. And so then I was assigned a second project. And the issue here was that I still didn't have a technical coach, really. I didn't understand that process. And so there wasn't anyone there to monitor the progress on the project. However, the type of project I was assigned in this case was for a plant. The plants are our clients that we conduct the projects for. The plant had many projects going on, and to organize all the different types of projects, we actually had a team of process automation engineers. And with this team came a lot of technical knowledge and experience. And we had weekly meetings, and so that is what kept me on track, helped me learn the work process from beginning to end of a project. And I learned a lot of knowledge as well as about how to do my job. And so about 1.5 to 2 years in, that's when I became a peer coach for the first time. And I did that 3 times before, after 3 years from day one, I became a technical coach. So despite the challenges that I had, the circumstances I found myself in brought success. And so when I think about keeping employees and developing leaders, the important thing is to retain your employees. And so when it comes to employee retention, one of them is the onboarding process, because there could have been a situation where someone who didn't have my situations, the type of projects I was assigned, or my background with the co-ops, those challenges could have been a lot more difficult for them. And so some of the improvements I've seen in the last couple of years within my department has been on the onboarding process. The first one here is regarding the technical coaching guidelines. I mentioned I didn't really know what technical coach was, and there weren't really guidelines for the technical coach to know what his role was. And so since then, we have formally documented these technical coaching guidelines, and so when I became a technical coach, I was able to draw on them as a resource so that I knew what was expected of me in that role. Also, for the peer coach and for the new hires, we have standardized onboard training and resources. So we have online database with these resources available that will help provide consistent coaching and consistent onboard training for new hires. And then also important with employee retention is you want to raise employee satisfaction. You want to make sure your employees are happy beyond their first year or two working for the company. And that involves great company benefits. And the second bullet point there is that I think is really important is build work group relationships and trust. And that's something I've seen also develop within my company in the last year. Specifically for the process automation group, which I am part of, we have a team that has been developed, and they organize social events both during work hours and outside work hours that we can get together and really just grow to know each other better, because with our projects we end up going to different plants and rarely do we see each other, but these events bring us back together. And also volunteer opportunities. That is something Dow has had a focus on, and we like to do that together as a work group. And then the last one there, which has been really important for me, is you need to invest in employee development. And so when it comes to employee development, there are several different ways to invest in your employees. First one is offering leadership classes. Dow Chemical has several of those, and I've taken some of them, and I've really enjoyed them. Next is you want to publish your career ladders. Because when you have an employee come in and they're at a certain position, it really helps them be able to focus and drive towards a goal if they know where they can strive towards. And so that is something that has happened in the last couple of years as well. Something else that has been developed is rotational programs. I mentioned that I work in engineering solutions, which is not in the plant. So a lot of times people from engineering solutions will like to go to the plant, and vice versa. People from the plant will come to engineering solutions. And what is good is if we have a short-term rotation program, people can work in the other location, gain skills and knowledge, and then return to their original department and bring that value back to the company. And then the last two have been especially important to me because for the first 2 years that I worked for Dow Chemical, I was really focused on just the project work that I had, on delivering quality results and exceeding customer expectations to the best of my ability. And I was not aware of these talent programs that were available. But my leader, because she desired to invest in me, she acknowledged the leadership skills and the technical skills that I had. And she nominated me for what we call a Promising Technical Talent Program. And so when I was admitted into that program, I was extremely honored, and it opened my eyes to see the larger potential of the opportunities within Dow. And so in the last year, I've had opportunities open to take on additional global roles and responsibilities. And that has been very important for me. And what I've come to realize is that when a company invests in you, you want to invest back into the company. And that makes us into a team. So in summary, based on my experiences, the first thing when you want to develop leaders is offer co-op experiences, because they are great value for both the company and the person hiring in, because they help you find the right fit. Excuse me. And also, like in my case, it makes onboarding smoother. So when there are challenges to the onboarding process, new hires, if they have a co-op experience, they don't feel so overwhelmed. Second, assign coaches that take ownership. The challenges that I had in my onboarding process is that the peer coaches did not fully understand the roles. Excuse me. And what I have come to realize is that you don't want to set up your new hires to fail. So if you have peer coaches and technical coaches, people who know to reach out to the new hires and to meet with them, to train them up, and to not have the new hire try to figure things out by themselves, that will help you to retain potential leaders. And to do that, standardizing guidelines and offering training for the peer coaches, technical coaches, the people that you have in those types of positions will help. Next, build worker cohesiveness and trust. Because when people enjoy working with the people that they work with, that will make them happy and content at the company. And that will keep people working there and advancing. And last, the one that was really important for me is you need to encourage your supervisors to invest in it, to acknowledge the development of their direct reports. Because sometimes people aren't aware of the opportunities out there, but others can see the potential in them, and that will inspire them to take on the challenges and the opportunities. So again, if you invest in your people, they will be inspired to invest back into the company, and that is what creates leaders. So, thank you.